should put one of those on that and see if we can't make a snow chopper?
Weight reduction, man.
180 pounds of weight reduction right there. It's gonna be really cool to be able to see it move when you're driving it.
Yeah.
It's also gonna be trippy because it's gonna be like so far in front of you.
Oh yeah, that's true.
The first step was to remove the hub and the front brakes because we don't need those anymore.
Oh man, it looks small on this bike.
Yeah, so all I need to do is make something that uses this existing bolt pattern and then goes down to there.
Sick.
All right, I got some 3/8 plate here. We'll see. Crank the amps all the way up.
Check it out.
Nice. Whenever I go to cut super thick plate, I'm not totally sure my settings are gonna be right.
Now that the top mounting plate was done, Ethan headed back to the computer to figure out the mount for the ski side.
Those holes there represent these two side tabs that bolt on. Top plate slots into them, welds together. Yeah, look, my measurements were even kind of right. Perfect.
That's gonna be strong.
All right. That looks like a very solid spindle mount.
Now it's just time to connect the two with some bent pipe so it looks good and keeps the ski right in the center.
Oh yeah. This is gonna be so crazy.
It's gonna be really weird.
You know, it'd be funny. You know how I wasn't driving this before SEMA because I didn't want to mess it up?
If the first time you drove it was on the snow?
Yeah,
I have a feeling it's actually gonna be easier in some ways.
I think so.
It's not gonna have a whole lot of traction, so there's that. Plus, tipping it over was way less likely to damage it and you.
Yeah.
That's a cool looking concept.
Yeah, that's kind of what I have in mind. This is just a scrap that was already bent that I'm using to kind of roughly figure out what I'm gonna do here, so.
This next piece of tube work is for strength. And it's also going to make the bike look awesome. Just some notching, get everything in the right place, and it's starting to look strong.
Extraordinarily close, bordering on perfection. I'm just gonna make a plate that bolts on right here using this bolt and ties into both tubes. And then that'll like reduce the effective length in terms of rigidity. All of this strength will be tied in right here instead of just leveraging all the way up to there. More hexagon! You know, considering all the different angles and planes that I was measuring there, I'd say that's not terrible. That's probably one of the smallest pieces of tube I've ever put onto anything. Nice strong gusset there. It's really kind of unnecessary, honestly. I just didn't like how there was so much empty space on the plate. So. Honestly, I could do more gusseting, but it would just be pointless. That is a stupid, stupid strong thing already.
This is actually significantly easier to maneuver than with the tire on.
It's very ironic. This is the first way that I drive the monster chopper.
Dixon Melons. Dixon Melons. We're in the town of Dixon.
Also, Steven has left the chat.
Nap number 2, and we're how many miles in?
140 something.
We arrived in Utah late at night, so our first test drive was on this rough, hard-packed road. And it did pretty well, but the real test is going to be on the steep and deep snow on the next day. We woke up to some good news. Need a little help starting the Ripsaw. Everyone was like, oh, you don't have to go do that. It's all good. They don't realize that this is what we get to do while we're here.
Get to go help jumpstart the Ripsaw. Wow, they're pretty cool. That was the biggest understatement of the year.
No way.
I have,
This is just one of the coolest machines that there are.
it's just a real deal high-speed civilian tank. What more do you get?
Absolutely nothing more, dude. This is it.
Look at these inboard brakes with the cooling ducts.
The brakes are the steering, so they get used a lot more than average brakes. Jumper packs on there, but it certainly helped out. I could be wrong. A lot of people are bringing a lot of cool stuff. I don't think anything comes close to this. Almost everything's probably more capable in the snow. But like, I don't care. I just want this. This isn't exactly handicapped accessible, is it? It's very spacious in here, though, once you get in.
Everything's laggy right now.
Is it? Oh, yeah, everything's cold. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'll give it to you, man. It's cooler than a Changli.
How's it look from the sky?
Like Grand Theft Auto 5, man. Oh, it's so laggy and I don't want to get run over by a tank, man. Sheev.
We really can't crash the drone in the first couple hours in the morning.
It's pretty wild that I'm filming a Ripsaw right now, man. How cool is that?
We have been obsessed with these things ever since we saw them on Top Gear, and we had no idea one would be here.
Oh, I believe it. Those things with tracks have like, you know, separate controls.
Really didn't like slamming into the ground at Mock Chicken. Oh, real life is so bright, actually.
I don't know, I haven't driven it yet, but I think if anyone asked me what my dream car was, it'd be a Ripsaw.
Yeah, I think so, man.
Then after the hydraulics warmed up, Dave Sparks took Ethan for a proper ride.
Woo, that'll make you dizzy in a hurry.
And to our surprise, when they rolled back up the hill, look who was driving. The smiles I saw on everyone who got to ride or drive this machine was unreal. Dave's probably driven this hundreds of times, and look at that. But one of my favorite parts was just hanging out in the cabin, having some great food. I was already thinking there ain't no party like a Sparks party, and that was before we got to fly in the Blackhawk.
Being at Snowed In is like being in a GTA server of just like a bunch of kids with all of their like dream cars just driving it around like crazy with no regard to what's going on. Like, you're just filming, there's a helicopter, limo on tracks, and a monster chopper.
Well, we finished putting the ski on the chopper right before we load it on the trailer. We're out here, we're gonna see what it's gonna do. Let's find out.
What I didn't know how good it would be at is exactly this.
Does really good, honestly. For what it is, it's doing really good. I'm gonna see if I can let some more air out of the tire if there's any left in it, you know. Every little bit of traction counts. You know, rule number 1 of snow wheeling, air down.
Yep.
Even when you're snow one-wheeling.
Yeah.
Considering it's one-wheel drive, you know, it does pretty good.
I can't believe you made it up that loop.
Speed and power.
How's that thing doing, Ethan?
Pretty good.
It looks sick.
I mean, I made it up the right-hand side and back around, so that's more than I thought I'd get. This thing's awesome in the deep snow.
I can't believe that!
How crazy is that, man?
Wow, nice save, man.
He actually just like, look at that. That's snowmobile level terrain.
Dude, I cannot believe that.
I can't either, and I just did it. That thing is way too good out here. It should not be able to do what it just did. Also, I'm pretty sure Cletus just said he'd try riding the Hayabusa, so.
Oh, that's really good news.
I just told him you agreed to ride the Hayabusa.
I'll ride the Busa. I have to. I saw it down
Yeah.
here when I pulled in. I said, brother, I gotta rip that puppy.
Oh, it's so much fun.
But first, Ethan had to test out the jumping capabilities and, for the first time ever, the top speed.
It looked really big when you got by it for scale. Yeah, I reckon watch a few other people hit it, get an idea of your speed, and send it.
Or just hit it first and see what happens.
Out a limo underneath it first.
No, he got more excited when the limo got
Yeah,
there.
he did. He just amps himself up. No one even like dared him to do this. Holy smokes, man. This is the first jump of the weekend. Yeah! He made it look easy!
That was nice. Now Evan's fired up. There goes Evan.
Isn't that a street bike?
That's a Hayabusa.
Oh my god.
You were so close to the
Ethan's a lot more comfortable riding that thing than Evan is riding the R1. I think your guys built a little bit better.
I speed checked you. I used the Hayabusa snow bike. Like, okay, if I just match his speed, I'll be safe. But dude, seriously, that was sick. Dude, I don't like jumping these bike timber sled conversions. They're just scary to me.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big jump.
Yeah, I didn't want to go too short. Yeah. I was like, I'd rather overshoot than undershoot on this one. And then the second one, I kind of overcompensated and almost smacked the limo.
Next, we headed down to the flats to test the top speed, and Steven forgot his helmet and goggles. Not a good call when it's 7 degrees outside.
Dude, that is wild. That is so sick. That's insane. No way. Dude, I can't believe that we're here and we gotta do this.
I didn't even know they made anything with tracks that big.
That is so
That is
large.
enormous.
Oh, this Diesel Dave, this is what he's been doing the whole time.
He's out here in shorts.
He's always in shorts.
It's funny because from where we're from, like wake boats are a flex. Like if you're in a nice wake boat, like you're up there. But you come out here, these guys have helicopters.
Dude, I might have to give her a whirl. She's looking at me a little funny right now. I'll tell you that, dude. May I? May I? I like that. Yeah, I've never ridden a timber sled. I've never ridden a street bike. Let's put 2 and 2 together and see how it works out. Show me what a proper ripper on this thing looks like. Let's see it, man.
On the rough snow, our top speed kind of maxed out at around 66, 67. But once we got onto the groomer, that's a pretty solid top speed, but we are definitely going to turbo this someday and up those numbers. This is the link that is supposed to hold the track in place on the Hayabusa.
That is not supposed to be an L. It's supposed to be an I.
And since I crashed and decommissioned the Changli, Ethan is pretty sure that if he steals one of these links, he can make a new one as long as we find a welder. And find a welder we did. But while we were trying to get the welder started, we were invited to go on a ride on a Blackhawk. And Ethan was determined to arrive on the Hayabusa, so he kept trying to make it happen while I went and checked out the warm-up process for a Blackhawk helicopter.
We officially got the offer to go up in the Blackhawk, and I told myself when we were first coming here I'd stay on the ground and film because I'm just pretty afraid, to be honest. But I think everyone here basically talked me into it. So there's our pilot.
Howdy, howdy.
I bet you reckon I should go up.
Abso-freaking-lutely, it's the greatest thing in the world. There's nothing better, and you'll never gonna do anything like this ever again.
I'd say like once in a lifetime opportunity, but I think that's an understatement.
They're restricted aircraft normally, so you can't take passengers.
Oh, really?
This is an experimental, and because we have experimental, we're actually legally allowed to. So, unless you're military, or you work for a job where you work on them, or you know Dave.
I hate to choose favorites, but it's unlike anything else I've ever operated, like by a long shot. It's just an incredible piece of machinery. Everything about it is just so robust, powerful, but simple to a certain extent. The hydraulic mixing system is not simple. It's pretty complicated, but it's an incredible machine.
I reckon that's not supposed to be there. I contributed.
Let's cool it off.
Checking everything out, so every time before you fly, gotta do a thorough pre-flight. Lines, cables, oil levels. You got buttons that can pop if you have pressure differentials that are outside of the norm. Cracks, dings, dents, just anything that's, you know, could down it from flying. Add a little oil and we're good to go.
Cool.
Isn't this thing amazing?
It really, really is.
It is, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
And how it flies, I would say it'll ruin every other experience for you, but in a good way.
Roller coasters aren't fun for you anymore?
I mean, I do love roller coasters. It's a different kind of experience. So, flying helicopters and having flown them for years and years and years now, all different sizes. The thing about the Blackhawk, and I flew the Chinook as well, is, well, even the Apache, but the little helicopters, like driving a go-kart, right? They feel everything, they have a lot of movement. You jump in something like this, and we're nowhere near the max gross weight. And so it has so much power, and because of how big it is, it's just smooth. And I'm always having a great time. But when it's your first time, you will land and your mind will just be blown.
It's not only the first time in a Black Hawk, it's just my first time in any helicopter whatsoever. I've only been in commercial jets, you know?
You're ruined for life. You will never want to do anything else.
All right, I'm excited.
As well you should.
All right, we're good to go. Let's go ride a Black Hawk. Get to the chopper!
You did it?
Back in action.
Heck yeah.
Feels good. Feeling real good. They told us to come hold this helicopter down while they take that one off. Oh, I see. To summarize, we gotta keep this one from flying away.
Dude, this is crazy. You can only ride on one with passengers, drive one with passengers, if you have the experimental license.
Yep.
And this is the only one in the world that is an experimental license.
And so if you're not in the military, this is the only way you can ride in one of these.
So we're pretty lucky that we know Dave now. That is unbelievable. That was easy. Yeah. Holy smokes. Shortly after takeoff, we had a compressor stall, which freaked me the heck out. It's the equivalent of a backfire for turbine engines. But since we had two, and the pilots didn't seem fazed at all, I quickly realized everything was gonna be okay, and I went back to having fun. So smooth. It is unreal.
Dude, this is my favorite thing in the world.
We were diving down ridge lines at 130 miles an hour. We were seeing the most beautiful mountain terrain from a whole new perspective, and I was in awe. I guess I was expecting this extreme adrenaline experience, but what I ended up having was something much more spiritual. I felt so inspired, humbled, and incredibly thankful all at the same time. It was overwhelming, but in the best way. A whole new way. And then we flew over the water. Felt like we were about 5 feet tops from the waves, and it was completely surreal. That was
have left to say is thank you. Thank you for one of the best experiences I've ever had. Thank you for bringing together the coolest group imaginable in the coolest setting imaginable, and for bringing us experiences like this that haven't even happened before. The Snowed-In series is by far the coolest thing I could ever imagine, and we are so humbled and so thankful that we got to attend this year. For the official recap, go to Heavy D Sparks on YouTube and you will learn more about the event, this ridiculous hot tub tracked machine, and much, much more.